Hello, happy Saturday, and welcome to my 11th episode for 2026 of Saturday Morning Makes, hosted by Jill Norwood here on YouTube. I will have the link to Jill's channel in the description box below, so you can go over there and pay her a visit. And also in the description box are directions of how to play along. Super simple, just create something, video, or take pictures and post. That's how easy it is, and tag it with Satmorn Makes. Okay, so I went to so Monday I went to a stamping thing at my friend Joe's house. It's cards and coffee. So we make 2 cards, and actually, I think this time we made 3 cards. And then today she put on an event, and it was Stamp a Stack. So we go and we make 10 cards. So now that's 13 cards. And then I came home and I finished up some cards that I started. I'm going to show you those first. So let me bring in this pile of supplies here. Now, maybe you have seen people jumping on the bandwagon, and maybe you haven't, but I've seen a lot of posts of people using this embossing folder that isn't out there for sale anymore. Probably you can get it for, I bet, a big price right now on eBay, but it's an Anna Griffin folder put out by Cuttlebug Cricket. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the word. Matelasse is the name of this embossing folder. It is basically a basket weave with little flowers in between. I fell in love with this embossing folder. And then, even though I fell in love with it, I'm not sure that over the years I have used it very often. But it's been being used in a different way here lately, where you actually cut different patterned papers, or maybe plain papers, what have you. You cut out all the little pieces and put it all back together like a puzzle. And so I thought, wow, those are really pretty. I want to try that. Well, let me tell you, it's pretty darn labor intensive to do. But I made 2. I probably won't do it again, just saying. There's also a border strip embossing folder that comes with this one. So anyway, I used that embossing folder to do that technique. I also used this Stampin' die set from Stampin' Up! Called Timeless Arrangements. It's got some really nice sentiments in here and little flowers. And then it's got, I really like these, that create the little leaves and things that you put behind the sentiment strips where you put your sentiments in. So I love having that foliage come out from behind like that. And so I used those, and then I used various papers. This is, for one of my cards, I used this pack that's been around called Flowers for Every Season. I used a separate one for the other card that I did. So this is the first one that I put together. So really the only thing you can see, well, I used some really pretty, let me pull it up. I don't want it to go blurry, but I used some really pretty pearly paper for the base. So this is a very pretty minty green paper. Then I matched up what I wanted to go with it. This one, I think I used the embossed side. Let me feel the inside of this. Yeah, so on this one I used the embossed side. On the other one I used the debossed side. I think I like the debossed side better. So I got all my little parts and pieces cut out and glued back in, and that's how it turned out. I did put some Week of Stella on the little foliage pieces that went behind the label here. I think it's pretty, I think. I just put a strip on the inside to decorate with. So there's that one, and then this is my favorite just because of the colors, I guess. This is the second piece. There's the inside of that, and this happens to be the back side of one of these papers, I think the flower one. So, so this was the debossed side, which actually raised those little doodads up. And yeah, I liked it better for whatever reason. And love this bright, this is called Magenta Madness. This is a long retired color. But yeah, so those are what I've been working on all afternoon. This one I had already done, just the front part of it. This one I didn't. But yeah, they're labor intensive, really. So that's those two cards. And then from Monday, Card and Coffee, we did these cards, and this white paper behind this is velvet. So these, all the rest of these cards, well, all of these cards really, except for the embossing folder, are using Stampin' Up! Products. So there's that one. Really love that velvety paper. There's that one, and then this one. I didn't glue the insides down. That's also velvet paper, and then sparkly paper on top, which is pretty. And then the pretty patterned papers. And I've got the envelopes over here. And then this one with the pink velvety paper behind. And sparkly words. Very pretty. Okay. And then from today, let me grab these all out here. So I've explained how this works before when I've went to these, and there's 5 different tables. We pay our money, and then there's 5 different tables, and we sit down and we make 2 cards at each table. So this was one of the designs that we made, which was fun, a fun technique using a swirly embossing folder that we, these papers actually have a white core, and so that's how we got the edge when we tore the papers. So we sanded, we tore paper to create the sort of wave look coming in. The seashells, she had already done those for us ahead of time. And then the embellishments are little rocks. Aren't those cute? So that was those 2 cards, nothing on the inside. So we've got those 2. And then these 2, which are cute. And this was an embossed piece of paper that we just ripped down the center and then separated it when we put it on the card base. And then the cute Band-Aids, stamped ouch around and be brave. Inside I stamped the Band-Aid again there, and then on the envelopes we stamped on the back, so I thought that was kind of cute. Stamped the Band-Aids. So that was those 2 cards. And then here's these 2. Oh, I didn't put the middles inside. Guess I jumped the gun. I didn't put the insides in. All right, so this one was also fun. So I hadn't done this before, but it's just these little strips. Let me measure them for you real quick, because if you haven't done this, I'm just going to tell you how to do it real quick because it's so easy. So 1¼ inches wide by 3½ inches long. Okay, so you just take 2 of them and overlap the you make like an L or a V, and just put glue in sort of a little square area there to glue that together. And then you do another one, and then you just slide them together and glue it onto your card to make that design. Isn't that cute? And then, so we had this brick embossed background. And this paper is actually flocked. It's got a velvet, raised velvet on it. And then these little doodah flowers here are a new, I think, new embellishment by Stampin' Up. Yeah, I didn't put the insides in, so I'm just going to slide them in here so I don't get that lost. Guess I was in a hurry. So there's that one and this one. Same, but just different papers. And this one has the flocked paper. And then, did I put the middles in this? Yeah, I did. Oh, I've got, okay, so let me just explain this. So then we did these two, which this paper, can you see how it's reflecting in there? So the bottom half where the water is has this like pearlized texture on it. And then we stamped the seagulls in the background. But other than that, that whole piece of paper is already done. It is how the background is. And then this is a die that cuts that out. And then we had pieces of this, I guess it stamps and die cuts out like that. And then we could, if we wanted, make this rock formation around the sun setting there, but I just didn't want to do it. Or you could cut it apart, which I attempted to do, and kind of create stones coming up out of the water. But I just, yeah, I didn't want to do it. I just thought it looked pretty like that. And then we had some extra strips to put on the inside of the card. So there's that one, and here's this one. So just a different sunset here. And I stamped the seagulls out a little bit different. It's so pretty. So there's those two. And then last but not least, there were these, and I totally didn't do these the way that they were intended, because I used the back sides of the paper as instead of the sides, I guess the front sides, whichever. There's really no back and front, but the other sides of the paper were like this. And when I flipped the paper over to see what was on the other side, I just totally liked it better with these bold designs in the back, and then the flower in the little medallion here. So I used the bigger piece of trim here on the bigger, bolder design over here, and opted for the skinnier piece of ribbon on this one. And then the red embellishments were on the table to put however we wanted. So I thought that these turned out kind of cool. I was really happy with my decision to use the opposite sides of the paper. I flipped these over too, just to see what was on the backs of these, and it was just a little, a very tiny little sort of background design, maybe like dots in a triangle or diamond shape or something. I can't remember, but yeah, it wasn't a design I wanted to use, so I went with this, and I thought they turned out pretty real different. I like black and white cards like this, especially with red. Red's my favorite color. So that is my pile of cards to share with you. I hope you are having a nice and safe weekend. And I think that's about it, guys. Go and check out, see what other people are creating for hashtag Satmorn Makes, and get inspired. And I will just see you in my next video. Take care. Please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, that would be awesome. And I'll see you next time. Happy crafting. Bye-bye.